Welcome back. So far in discussing this secret game being played in your head, we've covered your mental team, your opponent, and the game board with its two powerful rules. Next, it's important to explore the goal of the game itself. I mean, what is the point? What is success? Why is it important? And how do you win exactly? Now, in case you think this video is going to preach some deep philosophical or religious perspective on the goal of life, it's not. I won't be touching upon those issues. We started with the metaphor of a game, and I'm going to stick with developing these insights along that line. I do understand that, how concepts presented in this course, they're bound to bump up against some of your most cherished core beliefs. You may conclude that life has a really deep spiritual purpose, whereas it seems I'm suggesting life is just a silly game about worldly success. But the problem I have in working with people in an indirect manner like this video course is I don't know your alpha beliefs and values. I don't know if you believe in God or if you're a devout atheist. I don't know your religion or your philosophy. All I can work with is the fact that everyone watching this wants a better worldly life. And so I constructed this course in a way that hopefully can be adopted or assimilated into whatever deeper worldviews you may have. Now, full disclosure, I believe in God. But thus far, I found no aspects of my belief strategist approach that goes against that belief. And since it doesn't require a belief in God, it works just as great for those who don't believe as I do. My approach is all about aligning and creating harmony within your own unique belief system. And for me, presenting this like a game allows me to work across all possible belief systems. So, with that being said, and continuing to look at this through the prism of it all being a game, I'd like to approach the goal of this game by bringing in this guy. This is Henry David Thoreau, a famous author, essayist, and poet from 19th century New England. Now, his most popular work is this book, Walden. And in chapter 1 of this book, Thoreau establishes a simple explanation of life in general. He points out that as a species, humans only need a few material items to survive on this planet. We need food, shelter, and clothing. And if we have those three necessities, the rest of our breathing moments can be spent doing anything we want, anything our hearts desire. And now, if you cover those three, you're then free to pursue any goal or dream you have. Now, this book was written in 1854, and Thoreau concludes that even back then, society had things backwards. The people of his day had their priorities mixed up. How? Well, here's how Thoreau explained it. Instead of satisfying the three simple requirements and then enjoying the rest of our free time, people were spending the rest of their free time working in order to pay for their food, shelter, and clothing. Do these priorities sound familiar? You see, this surprised me when I read it. I had thought only modern society was materialistic to the point of wasting our lives working meaningless jobs just to pay our bills. But it appears this may have been the case for as long as civilization has existed. We don't just want shelter, we want a nice house, a big house, maybe even a mansion, or maybe a couple, one in the mountains and one on the beach. And think about it, how many pairs of shirts, pants, socks, jackets, and shoes does a person really need to satisfy their basic clothing requirements? And if you just change the word food to calories, you might want to consider whether modern man is also exceeding his basic caloric needs. We are compulsively preoccupied with accumulating more. And we spend our time working to pay for this more. Now, at first blush, this preoccupation seems materialistic, maybe selfish or greedy, and it might be. Or it might be further evidence as to the most powerful program running inside our human minds. Survival. Remember, survival is the number one rule of the game of life. Now, Thoreau was of the opinion that once you get your basic needs met, and he very much emphasized the word basic, that once this occurs, your focus should shift to whatever you desire. And think of this desire as being your goals and dreams. But instead, what typically happens is you use the majority of your time to work long hours at a job that you may not even enjoy, simply to get money so you can pay for your large house, your plentiful food, and your extensive wardrobe. And of course, that large house needs furniture in every room and maybe a furnished basement. And I think the goal is to have granite countertops, right? So to have that, you're going to have to sacrifice a little of that free fun time of life to pay for those things. And you probably can't walk to that job. You're going to need a nice car to drive you there. And then, of course, gas and insurance are needed to drive that car to that job that gives you the money to pay for that more. And this is what is called the rat race. Why do we do this? Well, there's a very good reason. It's because the acquisition of more is the most successful survival strategy human beings have ever stumbled across. At some windfall time in history, humans discovered that having more food, more warmth, more safe living space away from predators to live and sleep was a really, really good thing. It was the surest way to stave off death, which means it was the surest way to accomplish rule number one: stay alive. Humans who were blessed with more food and protection thrived. They were healthier and stronger. This in turn benefited them against elements and disease and enemies, and it wouldn't take many generations to figure out and adopt the belief that more is always better. And so over the umpteen millennia we've existed, this strategy, accumulate more, got so programmed so deeply into our minds that even though it's being played out every day right in front of our eyes, we really don't see it for what it is. It's programming. Our minds are programmed to always want more. Our survival strategy shifted from simply covering the basic needs, or the necessities, as Thoreau would have it, to accumulating material abundance. And because of this, we invest our time accumulating, and as a result, find ourselves prisoners caught in a loop of mostly working and rarely enjoying the only life we have. This makes us desire a new reality, a better reality. And we are going to dive really deep into this idea of survival and more in later modules. But for right now, let's get back to what Thoreau was saying about winning this game of life. Again, once the necessities were covered, this whole area could be filled with anything we wanted to do in life. And even though we each have different goals and dreams, there are approximately 5 main categories in which mankind has chosen to spend this extra time. Now, as mentioned, the number one use of this time is used in the pursuit of more, specifically material abundance. And the next most popular use of our time is generally spent in the pursuit of pleasure. And this could be divided into 2 subcategories. You have your mental and physical. Mental is generally satisfied through entertainment, and physical is satisfied through pursuits of hedonism, comfort, and recreation. And I don't really mean satisfied, because just like material abundance, we are constantly seeking more pleasure in our life as well. Now, the next investment of our time lies in the category of love and relationships. This involves spending more quality time with family, friends, or community, accumulating more memories. I'm hoping you're picking up on this theme of more for all these categories. Another category is achievement, and the word achievement could be swapped with the word success. And in a way, success is also a form of more. Being successful will make me more than average, more than I was. It may also then provide me more material abundance, tying back to that first popular category. Now, the fourth category is exploration and discovery. It also has an aspect of more. For example, science and knowledge in general advance in direct proportion to how much more is discovered. And then finally, the last category I refer to as art and ideals, which pursues more beauty, justice, and virtue. Now, whatever your goal and dream, it's got to be somewhere in one of those categories. And if it is, it somehow entails some aspect of more. Now, there will be some people who watch this and say, I'm not looking for more. As a matter of fact, I'm looking for less. I want a simpler life. I just want to get out of the rat race. I don't need a big house. I don't need the flashy cars. I'm not trying to set any world records or change the world or explore Mars. I just want to live a quiet, simple life. And to that argument, I'd claim maybe what you're truly seeking is more peace. You don't need the noise, the stress, the struggle, the consumerism. You just want more peace. And I'm guessing that more peace would be a subgenre of the mental pleasure category. Here's what I want you to take away from this video. The goal of the game at its root core is a game of more. Your goals and dreams always deal with more of something. Survival itself is about living longer, more days, more weeks, more years. That is the quantity aspect of more. But life is also about more quality, and this is expressed via health, happiness, pleasure, achievement, love, and ideals. I'm curious as to which categories currently make up your reality. I'm going to assume you have your basic necessities met and that your current programming has you spending the rest of your free time invested in one or two of these categories. And as we've already established, you're taking this course because you are hoping to shift realities, which means one of two things. Either you want more from the category you're currently in, or you want to shift and get more of one of these other categories, right? So, for example, let's say somebody watching this, and let's just call them Raymond. Raymond is currently programmed to spend the majority of his free time in the pursuit of more material abundance. He is constantly working, trying to earn more money. But let's say this pursuit actually involves another category as well, and that category is achievement. So not only is Raymond working 6 days a week to make more money, he's also working hard to make regional manager or vice president or partner in his company. If I was consulting with Raymond, an important question for us both to know would be, what new reality is he wanting to shift to? Is it a vertical shift upwards within the same categories, where the outcome is he earns more money and has achieved a new career title? Or is it a horizontal shift into another category like pleasure, where he uses his time for recreational travel, or is Raymond's dream to shift to love and relationships, where his time gains more quality by being spent with friends and family? In other words, is Raymond just needing to move up the ladder or onto a new ladder? So I have a homework assignment for you. Below this video in the contents, I've included a PDF for you to download. Now, the PDF helps clarify what form of more you desire from life. First, where is your current reality? Which category or categories devour the majority of your free time? Are you a person spending all your hours working? Are you a person drowning in front of the TV or phone, spending countless hours pursuing entertainment? Is all your time spent taking care of your kids and family? Wherever you are, your programming values that category or categories, and so makes this your main reality. In other words, your programming and reality balance. Now, the next question, though, is in which category or categories are your goals and dreams located? Are you simply wanting more from the categories you are already invested in, meaning moving up the ladder? Or do your goals and dreams have you shifting into other categories to experience the more they have to offer, moving you onto a new ladder? The self-awareness you gain from this exercise is extremely valuable, and you will need this information later when you start to reprogram your belief system. I hope the exercise brings more clarity to the life you truly want to experience. So that's all the information I have for this video. I'll see you again in the next video.